Greetings, church. It's Kevin Duclairon again one more time. Even though the series is completed, we're still dealing with a fallen creation and a fallen order. I am right now at the World Trade Center, and yesterday, after I was done working and doing some stuff, I came into this area. This is right next to it's a continuation of the business area in our city, in Portland. Right here is the the cables for electric cars, where people are charging their vehicles. You can see all the vehicles that are right there that are being charged. It's all brand new. It's electrical. I mean, I think it's kind of interesting, isn't it? People charging their cars nowadays. But anyway, the reason why I'm talking to you is because yesterday I was sitting here at this table, and I was talking to this guy, right, that was charging his car, where the blue car is right there. And he came in. I was sitting right there in that seat, and for about a minute or so, for about a second, I blacked out a couple times while I was talking to him. And then he left, and I sat there, and I completely blacked out. When I woke up, it felt like I had been bitten by a serpent in several parts of my body, like little needles just been, stuck. Apparently, Gabriel came out, and she molested me. Okay, I was vexed about it, and I was kind of pissed off because look at the area here. This is the World Trade Center, and nobody wants to be molested in this area. You've got the flags right over there of all the nations, right? The flags of all the nations. Nobody wants to, to be abused, and of course, everybody's hush-hush about the whole thing. And, it's one of those things that is unfortunate for me, but it's also unfortunate for the church. I want to show you something else, too. You know that as a minister, the position that MacArthur gave me is one of a homeless man, sort of like a continuation of Paul, the apostle. We're leaving the World Trade Center area right now, and I want to show you, for the last couple days, I've slept here on a cardboard box, carrying the green backpack. We are right now going to Taylor, and I think this is this is First Avenue, and right here is the World Trade Center. They have all sorts of graduation parties in there, and they've got all sorts of stuff, weddings. This is a big place for activities and things. And for 2 mornings, I slept right here at this under this therapeutic canopy, which I will never do again. And it was painful because waking up in the middle of the night, and you can see there's somebody there wearing orange. That's a Gabriel Franklin to the community. And I wake up at the top of my lungs, if I'm not cursing, yelling, screaming, trying to defend my manhood and the lack of respect that is lost when a person does that to you, openly and publicly for whatever purpose or reason. And so right here on the ground is where I have to sleep on a cardboard box. Why? Because the government, and right across the street, you can see behind me is the World Trade Center, because the government will not remove this Haitian woman and Guy Franklin. The government is adamant about stepping in between me and them. The churches will not step in between me and John MacArthur. Yesterday, I preached a message on 1 John, right? 1 John chapter 1, so sort of like a sermonette, 1 John chapter 1, verses 1 through 5. And then I did some administrative work on the book Ecclesiastes, King Solomon's second book of wisdom, at the library. I'm trying to finish that up so I can upload it to the Library of Congress. Afterwards, after depositing the flash drives into the bank box at Umpqua Bank, that's here on First Avenue, I came and I sat there. The incident occurred. Then afterwards, I don't remember what happened, but I ended up going to the Pioneer Square, and I preached there for probably about 2 hours because I was so angry at what they had done. I fell asleep on 6th Avenue, and on 6th Avenue, they came out again. I'm not exactly sure why John MacArthur and these people are doing this. This doesn't make any sense to me. So I woke up at I fell asleep on 6th Avenue after eating some, this guy had given me $10 for preaching the gospel. So I went and bought some chicken wings and some fries at McDonald's. Got out of there by 11 o'clock after preaching for 2 hours. Fell asleep at the bus stop. And then woke up, didn't wake up for 4 hours or so, right? When I woke up, again, sexually assaulted, pierced. I don't know where my body is cut. And so I got up from there at 4 in the morning in pain and went and found another cardboard box. And this is the area that I came to where I laid down, and I'll show you where I laid down on a bench. This is 2nd and Yamhill right here. This is 2nd and Yamhill, and right across the street is the Mod Pizza. And right over there is Ross. Apparently Ross is one of those stores where you you buy clothes and stuff. They're right up the hill, but this is where they keep, I guess, their sort of like inventory and so on and so forth. And anyway, make this really short. I wake up this morning, right after sleeping on the bench. Let's get across the street here. This is 2nd Avenue, right down the street from the World Trade Center. And they give it back. So it's this whole back and forth thing where African Haitian women or gay men are being used to sexually assault. And I don't know how many different ways I have spoken to these people saying, I don't want that, stay away from me with that. I'm a Christian man, but they don't listen to what I'm saying to them. So this morning, I'm gonna put my bags here next to Mod. This morning when I woke up, just making sure that you as a church understand where I'm coming from. I'm doing this video because I think what's going to end up happening is somebody's going to end up getting killed. I'm not sure if it's going to be on John's side or if it's on Gabriel's side. I'm not with either one, but somebody is bound to get hit, either from the government, the Klan, the gay community, or I'm not exactly sure. Women representing Gabriel Franklin all over the place. I don't want it. So anyway, this morning I woke up after sleeping right there on that bench with the cardboard box. I threw the cardboard box right over there, and that's Ed Kelson's truck, right over there. And this area right here is where I gave them the gospel, and the message that I preached to them came from 1 Corinthians chapter 1, actually chapter 3, verses 5 through 23. Nobody repented, they didn't come out of the back, and the whole purpose of my preaching was to remind them of what Paul was saying, and that is, the foundation that God has given to the church is Christ. For some reason or another, these people don't believe that that God is still doing that today. That the foundation is Christ, and they're making it homosexuality, and they're forgetting that the whole homosexual thing was given as a condemnation, not a way for people to live. In other words, God's angry, and in his anger, he didn't give us somebody's shithole, but he gave us a condemnation, and that is not what Christianity is about. That is not how Christians ought to live, as homeless men. And there's nothing spiritual about being homeless, unemployed, being raped and molested by women and men. There's nothing spiritual about it. There's nothing godly about it. And so I used a bunch of verses, hoping that these people would reconsider and remember the kind of foundation that God had put in their minds. I didn't have an outline of the scriptures, but I did remind them that everybody has a foundation, right? The Asians gave a foundation. The Mexicans down there, where he says Chipotle. I spoke to Gabriel in Creole. I literally cussed her out because I was so peed off at what she had done. Whether it be on behalf of the government or whether it be on behalf of the gay community, I don't know, the LGBTQ or the Klan, I don't know, and I don't really care. But I think it was an unfortunate thing because they always catch up, you know what I mean? And so I want you as a church to know my side of the story, because if it catches up in California, or it catches up in New York, or it catches up in Haiti, because they didn't receive the gospel, they didn't accept what I had to say. But what she's been doing, though, as a city, they've embraced her, they've protected her. They've watched out for her. They give her a place to live. They give her money. They give her food. They give her a place to shit and shower, and they give her complete total protection. This Haitian woman has taken over their city. She's got more representatives than God. I mean, all of these establishments have protected her. And me, I despise the woman for what she's doing. So before this reaches you, wherever it's going to reach you, I want you to know my side of the story. I'm not with Gabriel. I'm not with Guy Franklin. She should have gone back to New York State. She didn't. And so the gospel that I preach to them in this area is just a continuation of what I've been saying to them, right? What I offered them was salvation yesterday at Pike. At the park. They didn't want it. They basically called me out as a fag, and they called me out as an unbeliever, and they don't believe my leadership is genuine. So, you can't, when you're dealing with knuckleheads and you're dealing with people that have, their brains are like made of stone, you can't really get through to them because there's nothing in there. There's nothing in there. It's empty. There's no deposit on the Christian side. Some of these people, the deposit is in sex, it's in killing, the deposit is, and you're not dealing with a foundation. You're not dealing with the heart of a people whose foundation is Jesus. You're dealing with the heart of a people whose foundation is based on clanmanship. It's based on slavery. They go back to settlership. You can't get through to them because they don't want to be. They don't want you to get through to them. And who's building? That was a point that I made. Is that Paul was saying that I talking to the Corinthian church. It says the foundation that I had laid is Jesus Christ, and he was warning them to be careful of how they build, on that foundation. If they're going to continue in the faith or if they're going to go into immorality, because in chapter 6 he talks about all the immoral ways and all the immorality that comes into the church, which is not a reflection of the foundation. And so I gave them the message, and no one professed faith. The churches didn't come out and give any kind of financial support or even spiritual support. I don't even think they even cared that the message was preached. I think the church today is just sort of like nonchalant, If it's preached, it's preached. If it's not, it's not. If you're not a member of their congregation, they don't give to, about whether or not the gospel is preached. Whether people are living for the devil in this county community or whatever, they couldn't care less. Anyway, I hate to make it sound that way, but that's the reality of it. Anyway, I'm going to put an end to this, and I'm going to put an end to this video because I got to run to, I just came back from Uncle Bank. I got to run up to the library and try to put the 12 sermons, the photos, and the manuscript onto one flash drive. But here I am dealing with all these other flash drives, the thing that really ticked me off is that every time I go into the bank, the gay side of the bankers or the gay side of the workers are giving me warning that either MacArthur's been in the bank box or somebody's been in the bank box. And it's really not encouraging to know that my work is being observed either by the government or being observed by people that are in these establishments that don't agree with me. They don't agree with the gospel. They don't agree with the church. They don't agree with anything. So I have these flash drives here. Here's it's taking this many flash drives, right? 5 flash drives for me to complete this work. And MacArthur will, what he'll do is he'll have her molest me right there on that bench, and then he'll go in with videos and photographs, and he'll tell the bank that that's the agreement that we have. I don't have an agreement with MacArthur, and I don't have an agreement with this Haitian woman. So the reason why I was at the top of my lung is they'll go in and they will sabotage every single one of these flash drives. They will delete information from the Microsoft Word document. In other words, to basically terminate and end my position in the church, since I'm no longer with Master Seminary, this is what he's doing. If you want to know where this John MacArthur is today, he's hiding somewhere in the background because Gabriel Franklin is nobody special. So why would the government put her on an intercom, right? And why would they give her so much protection? So I want you to understand the hits there is to terminate whatever I do in the faith, right? To put in to empty these the work out, to delete it. And for what purpose or reason? I guess to glorify the devil, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, that's the end of this update, and I will give you other updates as things progress. And they're not progressing for the better. Jobs, nothing. Apartments, nothing. The sexual assaults, it's nightly. Anytime I fall asleep on a bench, they'll put stuff in coffee, right? They'll put stuff in coffee for me to fall asleep. and then they'll bring in either the gays or her to basically take the sex so that they can sabotage these works. Anyway, you keep me in your prayer, church, and that's the end of this update for May 2018.